You refused to sign an $80,000 loan for a 2026 rolling computer. Instead, you bought a clean, analog 20-year-old truck. You paid cash, you took the title, and you thought you beat the system. But the automakers and the dealerships have been watching the used market explode. They see us escaping the digital cage, and now they are quietly executing a ruthless counterattack. It is called the ZeroStock Trap. Original equipment manufacturers and dealerships are intentionally deleting their parts databases and permanently discontinuing the analog components required to keep your truck alive. This is not a cartoon villain conspiracy. It is ruthless corporate economics. Modern automakers operate on something called just-in-time logistics. They refuse to pay warehouse taxes on inventory for a 20-year-old truck. So when a vehicle crosses the 15-year or 20-year mark, the corporate accountants make a brutal decision. They take the original factory molds, the stamping dies, and the tooling required to build those reliable analog parts, and they either scrap them for pennies or sell the rights to the lowest bidder. They set the status in their computer systems to end. They know that if they choke off the supply of quality replacement parts, your reliable 1999 Silverado or 2002 Ford Ranger will eventually become a paperweight. They are trying to starve you out, exhaust you, and force you back onto their lots to sign a suffocating 7-year loan. But master mechanics are already fighting back. Today, we are opening the vault on the stockpile list. These are the 5 critical analog parts you must buy right now and put on a shelf in your garage before the auto industry makes them disappear forever. Number 1, the engine control module. Let's get something straight. Yes, trucks from the 90s and the early 2000 era have computers, but they are closed-loop systems. They do not connect to cellular towers, and they do not beam your driving habits to your insurance company. The problem is the physical reality of a 20-year-old circuit board. These aluminum boxes sit in the engine bay or on the firewall, baking in 200-degree heat, freezing in the winter, and taking massive vibrations every time you hit a pothole. Eventually, the electrolytic capacitors inside them burst, leaking corrosive acid across the motherboard. When that happens, your truck is dead. 5 years ago, you could walk into a dealership parts counter, hand them your vehicle identification number, and order a newly flashed original equipment engine control module. Today, those exact part numbers are coming up as discontinued. Once the dealership stock is gone, you are forced into the shady world of remanufactured modules bought online, which are notoriously unreliable and often fail right out of the box. You cannot 3D print a microchip, and you cannot weld a fried motherboard back together. You need to find a matching, functional, untouched engine control module for your specific engine and transmission right now. Keep it wrapped in an anti-static bag in a climate-controlled garage. When the supply completely dries up in a few years, that module will be worth its weight in gold. Number 2, original throttle position and idle air control sensors. For nearly a century, when you press the gas pedal, a physical braided steel cable pulled open a butterfly valve on the intake manifold. It was pure UN hackable physics. If you drive a modern truck, you do not have a gas pedal. You have a plastic video game controller. It is a cheap plastic sensor that sends an electronic request to a computer, which then commands an electric motor to open the throttle. When that fragile sensor gets a speck of dust in it, the computer panics, and it throws your truck into limp mode while you are doing 70 miles an hour on a busy interstate. Because the entire industry has shifted to electronic throttles, support for old-school, cable-driven mechanical throttle bodies is being permanently shut down. Any master mechanic will tell you the mechanical throttle body itself is essentially a solid chunk of aluminum. It almost never breaks. What you actually need to hoard are the critical original equipment manufacturer sensors bolted to the side of it, the throttle position sensor, and the idle air control valve. When these go bad, your truck surges, stalls, or refuses to idle. The market is currently flooded with cheap $10 white box knockoffs from overseas that will fail 3 days after you install them. You need to hunt down the original OEM factory sensors for your throttle body right now. A steel cable never requires a software update, but you have to secure the original sensors while they still exist. Number 3. Physical ignition cylinders and metal keys. Automakers are absolutely desperate to eliminate the metal key. They want you to use $500 push-button smart fobs. Why? Because it locks you into their ecosystem, and ironically, it makes the truck incredibly easy to steal. Hackers can stand in your driveway with an iPad, clone the signal from your smart fob sitting on your kitchen counter, and drive away in 30 seconds without breaking a single window. Because of this industry-wide shift to push-button starts, manufacturers that forge traditional, high-quality brass ignition lock cylinders are phasing them out. Think about the physical wear and tear on an ignition. After 2 decades of a heavy keychain swinging from the dashboard, the brass tumblers inside that cylinder wear down. The key gets sloppy. Eventually, the cylinder seizes completely. Now, a seized cylinder is not a complete death sentence for the truck. A local old-school locksmith can pull it apart and rebuild it for $50. But the real danger is what happens when that original housing is too far gone, and the dealer no longer stocks the original equipment manufacturer replacement. You are forced to buy a cheap, gritty, pot metal aftermarket cylinder from the local auto parts store. They feel terrible, the keys are flimsy, and they are notorious for jamming up when you are miles from home. Buy a high-quality original equipment manufacturer brass ignition kit with 2 fresh metal keys today. Throw it in your glove box and permanently secure your right to start your own truck with real metal. Number 4. Analog climate control modules. Take a look at the dashboard of a 2026 truck. The physical buttons are gone. They have been erased and buried inside a massive, fragile glass touchscreen. In a 1998 Dodge Ram or a 2002 Chevy Silverado, your air conditioning and heater are controlled by physical steel blend door, cables, vacuum lines, and heavy-duty rotary knobs. In a modern truck, a dead pixel or a software glitch on your 12-inch touchscreen means you literally cannot turn on your windshield defroster. The suppliers who built those heavy-duty tactile rotary knobs for the golden era of trucks have pivoted their factories to build touchscreens instead. If the air conditioning control module in your analog truck shorts out, finding a brand new original equipment replacement is getting incredibly difficult. These analog interface modules are becoming gold dust. Find the physical switch panels and relay blocks specific to your truck's interior and hoard them. Avoid the cheap aftermarket knockoffs that feel mushy and break in a month. When the original equipment parts stop being made entirely, the price on the secondary market is going to skyrocket. Number 5. Proprietary PreEmission sensors. We are not talking about basic oxygen sensors or mass airflow meters here. We are talking about the highly proprietary transmission speed sensors, range selectors, and ABS modules unique to the golden era trucks. If one of these specific sensors dies, the computer panics. It might lock your transmission in second gear to protect itself. You manage to limp it to the dealership, and the parts guy looks at his screen and says 3 terrifying letters, NLA. That means no longer available. Your perfectly good bulletproof transmission is now useless because a $50 piece of plastic was discontinued. When this happens, you are forced to hunt down white box Chinese knockoff parts on the internet that are notorious for failing 3 weeks after you install them. Do not let a $50 sensor turn your 5,000-pound truck into a lawn ornament. Identify the critical drivetrain sensors for your exact year and model, hunt down the original equipment factory versions now, and put them in a bin. The auto industry is playing a vicious game of attrition. They know they cannot legally force you to scrap your 20-year-old analog truck. The only weapon they have left is logistics. They are going to squeeze the supply chain until it breaks. They want you exhausted. They want you scrolling through forums at midnight looking for a discontinued relay so you finally give up and walk onto their lot to buy a new truck. but you can outsmart them. Building a stockpile of these 5 critical components is not hoarding, and it is not paranoia. It is a highly calculated, strategic investment in your own independence. You are buying the insurance policy that the dealership refuses to sell you. What discontinued part have you been struggling to find for your truck recently? Let us know in the comments so the community can help track it down. If you refuse to be starved out by the modern auto industry, hit the subscribe button to join the resistance. Build your stockpile, keep turning your own wrenches, and we will see you in the next one.